Hello, my name is Joshua Leroy. I will be presenting on the Midwest floods of June 2024. This is an example of what happened after the floods hit one of the small towns affected, Rock Valley, Iowa, after the flooding from June 20 to 22, 2024. You can see here in this picture that the water is almost up to the roof line of some of these buildings. Very extensive flooding in this city in particular, as the Rock River runs through the center of it. In the days before June 20, there was also very heavy rainfall. This rainfall will raise the level of rivers in the area of northwest Iowa, southwest Minnesota, and southeast South Dakota, the areas all affected by this rainfall and flooding. It almost completely saturated the ground with water. This raising of water levels and the saturation of the ground led to small amounts of flooding along the swollen rivers. That saturation completely filled the ground with water and prevented any more water from being able to soak into the ground. So any more rain that was to come would not have anywhere to go except along the top of the ground. Then came June 20 and 21. On these days, even more heavy thunderstorms poured rain down on the already saturated ground. These storms only compounded the small amount of flooding that these areas were already experiencing. This is a radar loop from June 20 to 21. This loop starts at 7 a.m. June 20 and goes for 24 hours to June 21, 7 a.m. Now, Rock Valley, as I mentioned earlier, is in this county here, about this spot here. And now we are at 6 p.m. on June 20. You can see there's been some rain up here. Some heavier stuff is starting to move in here towards Rock Valley. You can see there are some heavy spots. With that pink in the middle is going to be where it's heaviest. Hit there. Big section, covers really far. That's why the flooding was so widespread. These storm systems were massive. Now this next loop is again 24 hours from 7 a.m. June 21 to 7 a.m. June 22. So it slowed down a little bit since the last round of thunderstorms. But again, you can see these small pockets that have red and sometimes pink in them. See there, it's a really heavy one there. There's another one up here. This big system coming through, now late 21st, is what really started to send things spiraling out of control. You see there, that was a really heavy section that hit that one right there. Now we're into the very early hours of June 22. You can see now the rain is starting to end, starting to go away. At this point, there's not really a lot of rain coming down, but the damage has really already been done. So this is the 3-day rainfall estimate from the 20th to the 22nd. So again, you can see this spot here in the pink, 10 to 15 plus inches of rain. It's not a very big spot compared to all the rest of this rain, but that spot would hit right around where Rock Valley was, or is. Locations of the flood warnings, you can see there's flood warnings and alerts all throughout here. All of these different counties are in flood alert or flood warnings. It's very widespread. As you can imagine, this amount of rain raised the level of the rivers in the affected area significantly. All of that water from the rain actually broke the levee upriver from Rock Valley, Iowa. So you can see here, this is the level of the water in the river, right? So here we're at the 21st, going up, going up. 22 is about here. A little before 2 in the morning, June 22, the levee broke. So that's about there, right? That's when you really see that big jump up to the spike, where it eventually crested at little over 27 feet. Now, before we go any farther, I should explain what a levee is. So a levee is really just a natural or man-made embankment wall that prevents water from going where you don't want it to, right? So in this case, the water broke that levee and all of that water flooded downstream. This is another graph, this time from the NOAA, which shows the same thing, the level of the Rock River, right? So here, again, this is the 21st, this line here. This is the 22nd. So right here you can see the level really go up quite a bit faster after the levee broke, again cresting just over 27 feet. This is a projection of what the Rock River would normally look at about 7 feet, so a little bit lower than its average depth, but still no damage whatsoever, no flooding. This is a projection for what it would look like at its new record of over 27 feet. This is set at 27 and a half. The actual crest height was 27.6, 27.7. So again, lots of flooding. Big section of the town is flooded. This is how much of Rock Valley was actually evacuated. Basically the entire town. Everything north of US 18 was evacuated. This is just a picture of how much water there really was in the city. So you can see here, these are mobile homes. The water is up to the roof line of these mobile homes. This here is Highway 18. You can't even tell that that's where the highway was. This is a section of where there's some new farming equipment. All of that equipment is underwater. That's how much water there was. This is a local church in Rock Valley after the flood. Again, feet of water. Not quite up to the roof line in this picture, but still lots of water. This is a flooded neighborhood. Some of the houses, you'll notice, have sandbags around them. This one here, this one, and this one over here have sandbags around them. The sandbags did some to help, but again, there's just so much water that you can only do so much with sandbags. Boats, helicopters, and front-end loaders were used to rescue people who were stranded after the flood. There was so much water that people were up on their roofs waiting to be rescued because they could not go anywhere. So they were rescued by either front-end loader or helicopter in that case. There were also lots of damage in places other than Rock Valley. You can see here, near Mankato, Minnesota, this river overflowed around the dam. The dam got blocked up from debris flowing down during the flood. So the water overflowed the dam and ate away all of this here, including part of this road. This house is now threatening to collapse. Other places that were affected by the flooding were places like fields and croplands. They were also affected because of the raising of the river. All of that water pushed sand everywhere and threw it all over the fields. There was like 2 feet of sand in some of these fields in some places. Those farmers have to find somewhere to put all of that sand. So they have dump trucks full of sand that they have to move out of their fields, but there's nowhere to put it because no one wants just dump trucks of sand. So now these farmers are struggling to find somewhere to put the sand so that they can continue on with their normal farming activities. This is a picture of one of the damaged houses in Rock Valley. You can see here the garage is just completely destroyed. The roof is bent. Structural damage here. The garage door is mangled. There's no telling of what happened inside this house. This is another photo of a destroyed house in Rock Valley. Again, you can see the carnage just inside here. Absolutely ridiculous what the amount of water did to some of these houses. This is another one of the destroyed houses in Rock Valley. This one is one that cannot be demolished. You see here it says no foundation. So they cannot do anything to this house. The city can't until they receive buyback money from FEMA. The way that works is FEMA will pay money to the city, in this case millions of dollars, which the city will then use to buy the property from the original owners so that the city can then demolish these houses and build green spaces. And the reason they have to build green spaces is because these houses are now, where the houses were is considered, like possible for more floods, right? Because of that danger, they're not allowed to build any more structures there. So the city just has to simply use that space for green spaces, parks, etc. as of right now, they're still waiting for that money. The approximate guess is that there were around 540 houses that were damaged in total. Most of those actually were repairable and don't require any money from FEMA. About 120 of those 540 that were damaged are completely condemned. There's nothing they can do to fix them. They're just lost. Those 120 have to wait to receive money from FEMA before the city can do anything with them. Because if the city tries to do anything with those houses, like demolish them or anything like that, then those houses will be thrown out of the FEMA program and they won't be allowed to receive any money for them, and they'll just be sitting there. The homeowners will not receive any compensation. So as of right now, this is still an ongoing problem. Hopefully, FEMA will get around to giving out that money soon. Thank you for watching.